KFM Hotseat, welcome to this this segment of the show where we host pundits and journalists to discuss topical issues of the week that have made headlines. In studio, I have able heads to discuss this week's topics, and there are an avalanche of them. I have right opposite me the Honorable Joseph Sabiti from Parliament. Welcome back from Zombo, Joseph. How is it?
Honorable from where exactly?
From Zombo. Welcome. How is the field? How are you feeling it in there?
Thank you, Derek. It's good to be back here. I think when you meet anybody who is involved in a campaign, give them a hug, stress them less. And if you meet sitting MPs, please do your best not to stress them, because
you have tested the waters.
Chaps go through a lot. Yeah.
True.
Yes, and it's a higgy hugger field, but it's good to be back. It's been a while.
And also support them, give something.
We need to support our brother here.
It's not support. It is the voters know how to emotionally squeeze it out of you. It's a combination of emotional blackmail and appealing to your sense of duty. So yeah, it's a choice to make whether you're willing to. It's a polite name for bribery. Others call it support. Others call it whatever it takes. But yeah, I think it is what it is. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to have you today. You're going to discuss for us quite many things because of what you're going through in the field. I haven't known whether you're yellow or you're green.
Is that a question?
I might decide to stay in the press lane.
Neutral.
Is there anything like neutrality? It's an illusion. How can a human being be neutral? How can you not have a side?
Let's discuss that later.
Yeah.
On my extreme right is the Rogers Edward Chiega. He's an economist. He's a politician. He's a pundit. He's everything. Welcome to this show. I guess this is your first time being here.
Thank you, Derek. Yes, it is, and I'm excited. Yes.
How are you finding? I understand you're going to Match in the East.
Match in the West.
Match in the West. Yes. How is it? How is the field so far?
No, it is first of all good evening to all our listeners. Well, the ground, I will not differ so much from the Honorable here. The pressure is starting to crease.
It is not increasing, not decreasing. It is increasing.
It is just creasing. So
red, yellow, green, and you ate a watermelon.
No, we are deciding to go with the people. Trying to go with the people.
And another man looking right in front of me. For him, there's no question to ask because he's wearing a very, very, very yellow T-shirt, and that is Patrick Awongo Ogwal from Kole. He's a politician. He's a pundit, and he's everything. Welcome to the show. And how is Kole?
Thank you so much. Call is very fine, and
is the pressure increasing or decreasing?
The temperature is very okay. The temperature there is very okay. Yeah.
Okay. And on the extreme left is my man Jimmy Achelam Mujahideen from the Civil Society Organization, but also he's very, very candid against anyone who oppresses. So the oppressor,
especially those who take people to the basement.
Well, the man from Kole, yeah, he might drag you to the
good
basement.
Thing, the president already apologized. We hope practical action will be taken, not just words.
Well, speaking of which, you speak about the apology of President Museveni. It's one of our topics today, and we have a bevy of them. I'll just read through some of them, but I know we shall be concentrating on one. But before we do that, I want to take this minute to pay tribute to the guru, to the grandfather, to the one and only giant, and one of the most profound literature scholar and author Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o. He passed on before yesterday, and we have been paying tributes and stuff like that. By the way, Joseph, I'm writing a very, very deep piece in tribute to him. Look out in the Monday paper. But I want to give each of us like 30 seconds to just pay tribute to the old man of literature.
Derek, when I was still younger and more energetic, I was a student of literature. So literature through school, O-level, A-level, and then through university. His books. I actually thought people like Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o do not die. I refuse to say he's dead. They simply transition into the world of the ancestors and see us from above. Especially if you've been writing about the real issues that affect society. I think that decolonizing the mind, a fantastic piece there by Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o, I'll marry when I want, weep not child, the river in between. Those defined our days of literature when we were still young, when we were still very vibrant boys around the village. So I think without doubt that is East Africa's finest writer of all times.
Petals of blood,
he sits,
the grain of wheat, all those.
Yes, he sits right at the high table of literature with the Chinua Achebes and Osman Sembenes and Amai Kwei, the big boys of literature on the continent. So I think that absolutely,
the Timothy Wangusas.
Absolutely, yes. So it's a loud voice that has simply transitioned to he's now an ancestor. He looks at us from above, and for me, the one thing that I like about him was that he refused to be swallowed by the Western. The biggest problem we have now is the colonial mentality.
Yeah.
Yes, they bring their concepts and impose them on us. And that is why I thought that conversation between Mwenda and the diplomats, it was only the context that made it tricky. In principle, that is the conversation we need to have. The problem Andrew faced is that he brought the conversation when a picture of Eddie Mutwe had appeared with his hands looking like he needed to go into hospital for admission. But if you separate, we discussed the human rights issues and how we treat people in Uganda differently. The topic of Western diplomats trying to pull the balls of every African state and is a sound conversation. Except you don't bring it when Eddie Mutwe has been missing and he shows up in court with different from a basement. Yes, but the idea, people like Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o stood for African liberation. But is African liberation a possibility? No, we are here debating in English. You're all dressed like lost Europeans who have been painted black. You speak through your noses. You know their concepts the Jimmies have brought us. They say now a man can marry a man. If I say it is wrong, they say now I am abusing human rights. It's a crazy world, yeah. But amidst that, for us who believe in the African ideology, welcome another ancestor into the realm of ancestors.
Yep. I think you're very right, and Ngũgĩ there has so many works, and he has an avalanche of pieces out there that describe exactly what it is that you're saying. And I want to come to you, my brother Roger. What do you make of Ngũgĩ?
Well, I'm a student of literature.
Oh,
yes, I'm a student of literature, and I've been one since my high school. So his works are not new. They actually they helped shape some of our works, the way we look at the world in terms of comprehension, in terms of understanding, analysis, drawing analysis to the language. For example, when it comes to writing, he has been a very big advocate of the language. As Honorable here said, it is very important, even as we speak this English, if we could translate each and every English word we have said since we entered this studio to our local language, you would find that we would have a wider coverage and a bigger and deeper understanding of our social problems as a country. So as we pay tribute to him, it makes more sense for us to now seek relevance in all that he has been saying when it comes to language and our failure to internalize and analyze situations based on the fact that when you use 5 English words to describe the problems in this country, suppose you put it back to your local language, you will find that you have a wider understanding of what poverty is, for example. So it's a really a sad moment for those who do the language and people who do analysis, more so when it comes to the language. Yeah, it's a really sad moment for everyone.
By S2, I didn't know my mother tongue well. After reading Chinua Achebe's Weep No Child and The River Between, where he says, if a man, Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o, yes, when he says that when a man knows every language in the world but doesn't know their mother tongue, they are as good as dead. I said, I'm not dying. Right now, I speak the best Samia. Yes, Patrick.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm not a student of literature, first of all, but I'm a fan of literature.
Okay.
All I can say is that me have one concern that I pray that a spirit of such iconic people should rise in the present people that we have around, so that such caliber should not die in the history. We should have such people rising up so that the community get to know what concern us. Yeah, so that's maybe all I can say.
Yeah, and Jimmy, just in 30 seconds, as before we delve into
I can only say that he was a great man, he was a great writer, and his works are there for all of us. He hasn't died, his legacy lives on through his works.
Yeah,
the only thing is why wasn't he given the Nobel in literature? That is what everyone keeps asking.
But you see, if you've lived with the defiant mentality of Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o, and you go by the principle of every man is proud of his penis, however tiny, and then you don't need a Nobel.
Nobel.
Yes.
He's as good. He's proud of his
being a rebel thinker.
Yes. Precisely. That's what makes him unique.
True.
If we had subordinated him to this Western concept of Nobel, then we would have destroyed the defiance in him.
Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we return, we shall pick up from there and more topics to come.
3 KFM.
We are mad.
Welcome back from that quick commercial break, and we've been talking about madness, and saying the man was mad, but the good madness is what he had. I want us to shift gears to some of the issues that are happening across the country. I think I want us to discuss the most important thing right now. We can do all the politics and stuff like that. Identity for our country is something that's very important, and mass national IDs was rolled out I think early this week, and it's going to continue. It's going to be mass, and it's going to go as far as it can. I want us to try to chew up some of the things, some of the nitty-gritties. I want to ask a question: why should my ID expire? And yet I'm Ugandan.
And to who exactly are you asking that question? Because all of us are here with expired IDs. Yeah, but the concept is a bit, I mean,
except to me.
You don't have
Mine is expiring in 2029.
No, but I fail to understand that concept, because, for example, it's not just IDs. It's not just IDs. Even your passport expires.
Yeah, my passport can expire because it can, like, you can use the whole book and then you have to go and get another.
No, I'm talking
that is understandable.
No, I'm talking about expiring, not filling.
Yes.
Not the stamp filling the pages. Your passport expires.
Yes, 5 years.
5 years.
5 years, yes.
Does that invalidate your citizenship?
No, but the passport and national ID. Passport is a travel document.
National
ID is your identity in that country. Your identity in that country.
It's also a travel document.
You could, but apart from Kenya and Rwanda, where else do you use?
Being a travel document is an extra.
Yeah,
it is
just an extra, but it's your identity. So by the mere fact that it expires, so when it expires today, does that make me cease being Ugandan?
Are you Ugandan by the virtue of having a national ID?
I don't know. It identifies me as a Ugandan.
Were you not Ugandan before General Ronda successfully brought the national ID after very many unsuccessful maneuvers and money-eating ventures?
Your question would have been very valid if they had never brought the ID at all.
No, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
if you know where you're coming from, then it helps you to see where you are and where you're going.
Jimmy, I want to come to you. Have you gone for validation? Have you gone for renewal? Have you gone for replacement of your ID? And how does it feel? How is it out there? How important do you think this process is?
I think it's very important that we should, but we normally know that they go on for some time. So at the beginning, you have big crowds. So sometimes you watch and you wait a bit when the numbers have gone down, when the numbers are manageable, and then you go. I haven't gone myself, but I've been listening. They were hosted here on this show to explain what's, I think on Tuesday, to explain what's going on. And I think there's a lot of information out there in the media, what's going on. And so most people know. But it's the kind of organization, when you go to the different places, you're going to get overwhelmed. You can't be waiting for hours and hours to register and to, so you tend to wait and see when there are fewer people.
Rogers, as a leader in Machindi, this program should be one of your one on top of your lists, because then somehow, somewhere, the ID validates your voter to the polling station. What effort are you doing and what efforts are you making to make sure that this exercise is actually embraced and taken seriously by everyone?
Well, Derek, for starters, and all our listeners, I want to commend NIRA for, first of all, rolling it out. And I've been following on their various social media platforms, their website, and it seems all is going on well. We have seen new technology that is exciting people. The ring lights, quite interesting. It's exciting people. But then also one thing I would commend them for is the introduction of the social media platforms, the contacts. For example, now in Machindi, if someone has an issue, you simply send your issue to their WhatsApp number. So I think that is quite commendable, and I would like to thank them for that. But then either way, people are not really sure whether the 6 months that have been given will actually stay, because at the end of the day, when the concern of most Ugandans is that when a government rolls out a program, if government says 6 months, you will find that it's only effective within the first 30 days or 60 days. So there is congestion. Yes, there is congestion because we are not sure whether the ring lights will still be functioning after 6 months, or the machines will not have broken down after 6 months. So there is that. However much people are excited to renew, their Ugandan citizenship by birth because of the ID, there's still a worry that if I delay, these machines may yes. So yeah, it is quite commendable, but then of course there are worries there, and it explains why there is a congestion at the moment. We are not so sure of what will happen 6 months from now. Yes.
Joseph, the people of Zombo expect you to be rallying them. Have you gone for the replacement or the renewal of your ID, and how does it feel for you in terms of those numbers, huge numbers? I think if there was any campaign that has been successful and embraced from start, this is one of them.
I think that we've learned our lessons. If you played with the initial ID process, by now you've paid the price. Bank transactions, even local money lenders in Machindi, everything revolves around the national ID. So it has become a central part of our financial system and in our transactions, land transactions and things like that. So I think that the initial phase has indicated that it's a very important document. It's a good thing to encourage everybody to go and participate in the exercise and get involved. Even us who have lost our IDs, it's time to probably replace them. But it's crazy when you target to voting, Derek. Those are not the things people will be looking. Those are not the issues in elections. If you followed much in the West, where my brother is running, for example, somebody gets a megaphone and says, "Is it Namuongo Market? We have no toilet. Nyeko, where is our toilet?" the people of Namuongo want toilets. For you're talking about national ID and roles of a member of parliament. So it's important to delink it from politics, but experience has shown that it's a very crucial document. You either have it or your life can be hell in this town.
True.
Yeah.
Patrick, how does it feel for you in Kole?
Oh, first of all, I want to say that...
Speak next to the microphone.
I want to say that ID is a very important document, and NERA should revise their system, how they work around the ID, because I am bringing this issue because of this fact. Many people have been suffering a lot when national ID gets lost. People are spending a lot of money traveling up country. Somebody can travel from Kole, from Barara, from Koboko, from Bali to come and replace a national ID. And it takes a long process, and you would have spent a lot of money renewing it. So to me, I'm appealing to NERA this way. NERA should design a network system whereby if somebody lost a national ID, first of all, they should have a collection center whereby when I lost my ID, maybe when I lose my national ID from Kampala, they can allocate it up to Kole, where finding it can be easier for me. And I pay a little bit something at a cost to recover it back. And also, I want to say this, that national ID is a very important document. People should not politicize it. And I am happy that what I've heard so far is that the national ID that people are renewing, they're putting in some technology in it, whereby it has improved the standards from the one we have to a better technology system. So that should encourage everybody to go and renew their ID, so that we have a national ID which has a better technology, so that accessing certain things can be easier for us in terms of whether accessing finances, whether accessing some access to so many things. About the expiry, it would really be so good if national ID would not expire. Unless somebody is dead or what, there maybe they can report that this person is already dead and they update it in the system. But a situation whereby a national ID is just staying for 5 years, for 4 years, to me it's not appealing. So NERA should improve that, and Minister of Internal Affairs should work on that and design a policy that can make that national ID to stay at least for more than 10 years. Yes, because by the time somebody has at 18 years, that person can use that national ID for 10 years and will be able to have grown to be a voter, to have grown to maybe to be a worker somewhere. By the time he's renewing, he has not gotten too much stress.
True. Patrick, you make a very important point there when you talk of locating your document from elsewhere, and it comes with, I think, the improved kind of technology that's coming, that you can have all the data that you put in there being traced from wherever. So important. But before we go for a commercial break, I want to tell you that Saturday Monitor is already on the streets, and it has always the most interesting stories, how tainted meat enters the food chain. A new House report findings finds major hygiene failings in the country's main slaughterhouses, noting that failure to take basic precautions has resulted in contaminated meat reaching high street butchers and supermarkets as food poisoning fears heighten. So it's very important which kind of meat you eat and where you get it from. Report critical of Uganda for curtailing free speech. Those are some of the stories that you'll be reading in your Saturday Monitor. Inside enterprising plan to use drones to deliver ARVs. I think that is very, very, very important.
What do you call it?
Using of drones.
No, I mean the framing of the topic was enterprising something.
How enterprising plan to use drones to inside enterprising plan to use drones to deliver ARVs.
No, I'm just thinking that Rwanda was there how many years ago?
For us, we are getting there. Why Ngũgĩ Thiong'o belongs to the age as one of the finest writers or some of the stories. But let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we return, shall pick up from that.
To 8 p.m.
Welcome back from that quick commercial break. My name is Derek Kwandera. I have Jimmy, I have Patrick, I have Joseph, and I have Rogers to discuss today's topical issues that have made headlines throughout the week, and we have been touching quite many things, including the death of Ngũgĩ Thiong'o. I want us to go to the next to President Museveni's apology. Many of us were taken by surprise that the president finally decided to apologize to Ugandans. I've seen a piece from one of our fellow journalists, but now working in State House, Nelson Kapo, saying it was taken out of context, and I don't know which kind of the context it was taken in through, but I think that apology came as it really meant to come, and it was scripted, being read, not that it was getting from heaven. I want to Rogers to help us. What do you make of the apology? What are some of the reactions that are coming through from the people where you come from, and what are they making of this kind of, especially when he is apologizing to mostly the Baganda?
Well, Derek, an act of apology is out of humility. An act of apology is biblical. But then, like you said, maybe people are blowing it out of context. But the question is the spiritual aspect and the civic questions that are coming out of the apology. The question is, after the apology, and then what? Did he actually mean the apology? Is it genuine, or it is another strategy? Most when it comes to exactly who he directed the apology to, because he was specific to that. Yes, it was the apology to the whole country, but he mentioned, there were mentions in his speech. So the question is, what, is it out of humility? Is it a strategy? And that is where the question is. So when you look at an apology is supposed to be followed with actions. Then, through those actions, people can determine whether they should move on or ask for accountability. Or because if there is an apology, people go on with the apology, they accept the apology, but then the actions do not rhyme with the words, however sweet they are quoted. Then that is the problem. That is where Ugandans are putting the question: is it genuine, or it is another strategy to soften the hearts of the people from the central, specifically the Baganda? Is it a heart softening strategy, or it is actually genuine? So that is where the question mark is.
True. I think the question of whether it is really an apology or a strategy to soften and ask for more, like I forget Charles Dickens' book, a little more. I forget the name. Oliver Twist. Maybe he's trying to ask for more from Buganda, because over time we've seen that Buganda has slipped out of his hands. Joseph, what do you make of it?
Derek, I am a believer. So I'll read for you from the book of 1 John chapter 1 verse 8. If we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us.
True.
If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all the unrighteousness. I actually do not know why a president and his wife saying that they are sorry for the mistakes made during their time, and they take responsibility for the mistakes made by those under them should be actually a big issue. Maybe we are just a society where people are too egoistic and think that it's wrong to say sorry. We, as a country, we have a problem where if we are sharply divided on political lines. So if Jimmy says something and I don't agree with Jimmy, we don't examine what he has said. You hit it.
Hit back.
You must hit it. You must condemn it and hit it and everything. And then now that craziness has also entered the religious space and the spaces of sobriety. There are people who used to stand in the middle and say, okay, for example, someone would say, okay, the apology has come, now what actions are coming with the apology, right? What are the, okay, what, I saw Father Musala saying, what exactly are you apologizing for? Can we go into the details? You tell us what you're sorry for and what you have done. The Catholic Church has a concept of confession. It has, I think, 3 or 4 elements. One, you must state what you are confessing. And then there must be self-introspection, and you must
first of all
examine. Yes,
it before a priest.
Yes, and then it must be, and then you must examine yourself and be sorry. But you must be sorry for something. For me, I think the concept of leaders, even if it is just word of mouth, saying that I am sorry, is a good starting point. And the magic of that, I think, happened after the post-election chaos in Kenya. During that national prayer breakfast, when first President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga led the way to say, my brother, during the campaign, I called you names, we called each other names, forgive me. I saw the magic it did in Kenya. But our country is stuck in this thing of, because it is President Museveni who has said it, therefore we must hit it. The other side says it is because Rubongoya has said it, then we must hammer it.
Maybe because it's unlike him.
like
if it is unlike him, then isn't it a good thing?
Then you're taken by surprise and you want to examine it properly. Does it really? That is why.
No. I think it's proper to critique it. By the way, I don't have a problem, because the president's statement is not just an ordinary person, so it is proper to critique it. But I'm saying the prism with which we critique our leaders and their speeches is blurred by the partisan lenses of politics that have defined our country.
Exactly, because of the things that are going on, what we're seeing.
The public frustration.
The basement, all these things you're saying.
But you see, Jimmy, here's the thing. You talk about the basement.
So if you...
just listen to this.
Make an apology, then also your children behave.
Okay, one side you're talking about the basement, but the so-called liberators, have you listened to the things they say? Have you listened to their language? Have you listened to the things they threaten to do when they finally replace those they are condemning? And I've asked myself why General Mugisha Muntu remains sober in such a crazy country. Because the sobriety has vanished. But also the worst thing you can do is to threaten General Museveni with violence.
Nobody's threatening him.
There are people who are. There are people who stand and say, this man, we shall get him, and what? You are threatening the son of Kaguta with violence in 2025. What are you going to do to him exactly?
Social media.
Yeah, but what are you going to do to him? The man did a thesis on Marxism and violence. The man has set a record of holding together a state for 40 years. Other people came for 30 minutes and went away. Even the hard guy, Idi Amin, could only manage 8 years.
Maybe it's too early, but people expect that when you are remorseful, when you apologize, it means you have accepted that things.
I remember a conversation I had. There was a time General Eli Tumwine was hunting for me when I was still the bad boy in the newsroom.
And now you're a good boy. I know.
I mean, I left journalism, so I'm annoying less people, and it's more peaceful annoying less people. But he looked for me and said, hey, Joseph, us in the NRA, he said, don't mix us with your confused NRM. Us in the NRA, we know what we are doing, and we have a historical mission. And he said, Joseph, you think shouting on TV is going to remove us? You think he's speaking a lot of English is going to change? He said, you must come and talk to us. You must listen to us. You must reason with us. And that's, from that day I started realizing that, look, if somebody has the monopoly of the instruments of coercion, where I come from in Zombo. No, I'm not saying you should bow. I'm saying where I come from, threatening someone with the instruments of coercion is suicide.
It's just being protected. The apology is just being protected. Nobody is threatening the
Geno Eli Tumwine is long gone dead, and probably even if you threatened him or don't threaten him, he's
gone.
He's gone for sure. But I want to bring in Patrick.
His comrade.
Are you saying Patrick is his comrade?
I think Patrick, you'll come last because I want you to.
You want him to sanitize?
Patrick, you'll come last. Let me go to the Mujahideen. Jimmy, you have been heckling. You've been heckling Joseph all through. For you, what do you make of the apology?
I think the apology should be welcome. It's a good thing. It shows humility, but it should not be just in words. It should be accompanied by deeds. For example, for instance, says all political prisoners who have been held, without any, them. Please let them go.
But
those who are being,
he's not the judiciary.
No,
the judiciary is
but the president has, he knows, trying to correct. There are systems, but you can say we know that they're just being. When they say political prisoners, they are being held for political reasons. Sometimes you have not done anything. It's just the politics.
Then you will wake up tomorrow at your civil society conference and demand for a functioning judiciary. You demand for separation of powers. You demand for.
But doesn't the president have the prerogative of
mercy after conviction?
Yes.
It's post-conviction. The president.
Yes, but there are others who have been convicted. I'm not saying like the others.
Actually, I don't know any. Just give me one conviction in these political cases. One.
For example, one who is others who are being mistreated, others who are being threatened. You can say, "Oh, from now, there'll be no kinds of threats. Let people live peacefully." You can't be saying, "How many days in the basement for this one?" And people are just joking.
But you say you're examining the basement. The apology came from the father.
He's the one in charge of everything.
The buck ends with him.
Yes.
Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we return, we shall pick that conversation up. Welcome back from that quick commercial break, and we're going for our last segment of this show where we host pundits and journalists to discuss very topical issues that make headlines in a week. My name is Jerry Kwandera. I have the good Match India Westman, that is Rogers. I have Zombo. I need to get your constituency right. That's Joseph. I have Okoro.
Yes.
Okoro County. Joseph. And I have Cole North. It's only Jimmy and myself. The rest are politicians.
Don't be very sure. Especially when it was Jimmy and you.
We might run anywhere.
I know. Anything is possible.
Yeah, so I want to bring you in, Patrick, here. Patrick, there is a lot that is being read from beneath the lines, but also from between the lines. And seems people have not accepted to be honest, I feel people have not accepted the president's apology. Probably many are thinking that he's just stage managing it, or others are saying there are more practical things that he can do, and he has powers too, to show that this is a real apology. From where you see it or stand, what does it feel for you?
First of all, I want to appreciate my chairman of the mighty party NRM and the father of this nation.
I is not my father.
Are you a nation?
For you are not a nation, you are an individual.
I am part of a nation.
So I want to appreciate him so much to come out to apologize to the nation. Three things here. One, we should accept the fact that Mzee has grown old, and he has seen it all, and he has been around, and he's still around. So many things has happened.
How long?
So many things has happened. For how long? That one I will not answer now. So many things has happened during the time that he has been in government for this long. And sometimes certain things happen not in his or when he's not the one who was authorized and it hurt people. Like if I could take people back to the Kawempe incident, it was not his order, but it all goes back to him. So when you see him apologizing,
nullifying that is
when you see him apologizing, just know that it has come from the heart. Because when you give him like this show to explain why he's apologizing, it may take the whole month explaining one
Because
by one the items.
so many things that he has done.
So many things has happened, but as a government, as a leader of the government, you cannot, you have to hold it, even if you are not the one who has done it, because there are people who are there who are doing certain things to protect
or
the
he's
government.
not in charge?
He's in charge. That's
so
why
then how
he's
do
coming.
people do things and he doesn't
Wait,
know?
that is the reason why he's coming to apologize. You get it? Eh? That's why that apology is coming from the heart. It's not political. People should take it as
How
it
do we
is.
know?
My second reason is that question takes me to my second point. Mzee has made that apology to me, and this is my personal opinion. The young people who support NRM like me, who is in my 30s, and other people,
Gen Z.
the Gen Zs and the rest,
But
even
also,
those ones who
but
are
also
not in.
stop tying yourself on Gen Z. You're millennials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody, this is my point.
I've seen even you.
What I'm saying is,
Even the other one is called Gen Z.
Even the other one is a Gen Z.
A 53-year-old.
I will not go
that
there.
one I have no comment about it, but because it has not come from me. But this is what I'm telling you. You see, Mzee is setting up a stage. He's setting up a record, because now, given his age and what he has already seen, should he live one day, he will have left for us the ground when it's soft. No one is coming to hunt for us when things have normalized. Because when you're leaving things for your children, I don't think even you, in your whole age, you'll leave the status quo for your children. When you have hatred from everywhere, every corner, everybody is pressing on your children. Because at his age now, I think he's leaving a good precedent for the party. He's leaving a good precedent for the what? For the future of the country, so that when he leaves, there is no chaos. Even if he decide to say, okay, after more 5 years, I'm coming back home, no one will come and say, okay, you Patrick, your Mzee has done a lot of things and we are coming for you. You get it, eh? But he has already apologized. The third point here is.
What? Apologize. So is it doing more? Is it being accompanied by deeds?
Auntie, that is where now I'm coming. The third point here is, you see, yes, people may politicize it and question it, whether it is real, whether it is a political strategy to please people to vote for 2026. But me,
given the strength of no,
no, that one is your opinion. But to me, whatever he's doing, whatever he has done, it is from him, and let us accept as it is from him. Should anyone needs any other more explanation, you are a journalist. You can request for time. You go and interview him.
You see, I have very many reactions online coming through because of the apology.
An apology comes with change.
And by the way, you see,
very important.
You see,
for me, I think that the important thing is this: that as a nation, if you do a realistic reflection of how we have done our politics, the things we have done to each other over the last 40 or so years, the conversation about forgiveness, repentance, and doing right is a good one. And the president and the president starting off that conversation is a good thing.
Why doesn't he accept national dialogue and be involved in
dialogue? Doesn't jump from the blues.
So you think he's actually heading there?
And by the way,
let me tell you one thing I'm sure about.
Someone here actually opined that president might be doing this because maybe the wife or the daughter have compelled him to say those things that he said.
Gorilla, the way you see him.
And there is someone telling me here.
The way you see the president there, can you just force him into something
Mugabe
like that?
is actually telling me the same from NBS, that probably it could be the same. He's also buying into the same. But you think every gorilla has someone who can tame it?
A soft spot.
But,
a soft spot.
But my brother, let us accept this. You see, when somebody come out and say something, a process of healing comes from the heart. By the time somebody is coming out to say it out, it means inside the heart, the person is now healing from whatever wrong that people have been
when someone is very uncanny at the same time.
One thing I'm sure about,
let us accept
is that our Lancaster moment is around the corner.
Our country is now healing. It is
Jimmy,
from the process.
Our Lancaster moment.
Why are you speaking like Mama Janet?
Our Lancaster moment.
That's what she has been saying.
No. You must be blind not to see it. Our Lancaster moment is around the corner. Whether we want to talk or not, there's going to be a moment when we are going to sit down and talk as a country. I have been praying that I should be at that table, or at least in the room. But I don't want us to go into that Lancaster moment with animosity and think, imagine criticizing an apology. Critiquing is okay, but I have seen criticisms. Critiquing is normal.
Which is also okay.
But I am saying we need to start a process of national healing. We need to talk to each other. We need to admit.
Where shall we talk from when we are in basements?
We need to admit. We can start it from that basement.
Unfortunately, that's all we have for the time for today. It starts from the apology. And I hand you over to Sentamo for very good news. Have a good weekend, a lovely weekend. Goodbye. Bye.